Hello everyone, I'm back finally for this response video to Mickey Babylon. He did another video a couple of days ago on his bad old days, so it's time for the response video. It took me a couple of days to get to this, so let me first go over what he did. There's a couple of things in there, very minor issues that I didn't think would work. The main thing is the world title main event. I think, again, he's forgotten that Jericho had a great gimmick at this time. He was the best in the world at what he did. Sort of thing was sort of going pretty wild, so that was good. So I don't think there was any reason to change up Jericho's gimmick. He kind of did that before. I didn't really touch on it. I can't remember. So it was so long between these two videos. But I honestly can't really remember too much else that he did. The mid card. This was a biggest thing, and it was very minor. He was sort of transforming the Raw mid card into a kind of a hardcore division. There's some stuff here that like great minds think alike. We kept pretty much the same main event. I put a stip in because I think it needed it, and I kind of when we get to it, I'll sort of explain a bit more. But so what's happened since in my world since Extreme Rules? Not a lot has changed. Big titles are staying where they are. Big Show and Miz have been pretty much running wild on Raw and SmackDown, defending the titles there in respective weeks, because how I would have the tag titles work is one week they will be on Raw, next week they'll be on SmackDown, and you're going back and forth like that quite often. And the pay-per-views are sort of decided between the two brands, whoever the number one contender is at the time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But so the number one contenders is the Hart Dynasty. They've been doing pretty well. One of the matches on Raw was a singles match between David Hart Smith and Big Show, and David Hart Smith almost beat the Big Show. Tyson Kidd, he managed to squeak out a win over the Miz, making him tap to the sharpshooter. And Bret Hart has sort of become kind of like the de facto manager for the Hart Dynasty. And he's going to be ringside for this match because Nattie's immediately after this is going to be defending her women's championship against someone. So Bret Hart has sort of put his hand up. He's going to be at ringside. Well, Vince's rivalry Vince's rivalry with Bret is pretty much done, but there's still some anger and issues. This is sort of to wrap things up. And sometimes during this match, Vince is going to try and interfere. Vince is going to be pulled out of the ring. Bam. And he's probably going to be putting the sharpshooter. How the match at WrestleMania that year should have gone. So, during this time, the Big Show is going to drop down, try and break up the sharpshooter. David Hart Smith is going to kind of get in. Tyson Kidd, is going to not be the legal man and try and break that up. During this time, though, they've already double teamed the Miz. Count 1, 2, 3, and we've got new tag team champions in the Hart Dynasty. And their reign is not going to be ignored like it was in the real world. We've got Nattie and Serena Deeb. So it's Straight Edge Society versus Hart Dynasty. It's Raw versus SmackDown. And we're going to have a pretty good women's match here. From what I understand, Serena Deeb is a very good women's wrestler. So I got no problem putting her in the ring against Nattie. And plus, I want to make a bigger deal out of the Straight Edge Society. So Serena Deeb is going to kind of come into this, and yeah, she's the #1 contender, and it's just basic similar rules with the women's championship now that they've come over, that those belts have been reunited, and bang, we've got the new women's division here going, and only the best are going to be wrestling on pay-per-view. Nattie's been probably cleaning house, and so is Serena Deeb on both their brands. So, yeah. From memory, this is a rematch from the previous month. Yeah, it is. So it's basically a rematch, and Nattie's going to go over again here. Yeah. Just quickly going over. Then we got our 4 corners. Fatal 4-way, 1 pinfall to a finish. #1 contenders match for the tag team titles. Carlito and Primo, who are apparently heels in Mickey Babylon's world. So I'm going to keep them heel. MVP and Ezekiel Jackson, who are both heel. And Cryme Time, who are still around. And Evan Bourne and Shelton Benjamin. Now, what's been happening on SmackDown is MVP has been trying to bring Shelton into his group that he's kind of forming. He's kind of taken on a, not exactly the nation, but kind of like a group of African American or African people. Like, I don't mean to be trying not to be anything here. African American people, and together, and he's doing that, saying that they're underappreciated. When was the last time there was an African American champion in WWE? And people might go, well, The Rock and Booker T, and he kind of says, yeah, 2 out of how many? And yeah, he kind of brings that up, and he's kind of he's probably the closest thing I would say is he's the kind of a little less probably a little less Ron Simmons, kind of like Conan for the African American people, and he's I'm pretty sure he said, I think he's got Malcolm X tattooed on his pec here. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's who's tattooed on his chest. And yeah, he says, I've got to wear this suit, this outfit because they don't like Malcolm X. The people here don't like Malcolm X and that. Let's see if I can get away from that. After the Cryme Time get qualified for it too, he criticizes them as well, saying that they're a racially insensitive stereotype, blah blah blah. And they've sort of targeted Evan Bourne as well in this. Evan Bourne, who's been pretty much doing so well on SmackDown, winning matches and stuff, and they've sort of MVP and Ezekiel Jackson have sort of targeted him as well, and he asked Teddy Long if he can enter this match if he can find a tag partner, and it's not announced until tonight that Shelton is his tag team partner, and they've sort of gone on this way. Now MVP wins the match by pinning Evan Bourne, and they're going to be the #1 contenders for the tag team title. Not sure when they're probably going to be defended before Fatal 4-Way, so don't be surprised if you go a different match. Alright, Intercontinental Title time. From what I could... Yeah. Basically what's happened here is Kofi has sort of entered into this as well. Drew McIntyre and is defending against Kofi Kingston as well as Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's getting his rematch from Extreme Rules. Kofi has gotten a victory over Drew, and it was a fluke victory over Drew, and it's a pretty basic story here. So yeah, we don't need to go too far into it. So basically, it's just another title defense. And I'm completely cutting the Teddy Long thing out of this. From like Teddy Long, like for me, the general managers are just going to be there to announce matches, and that's about it. They're not going to be involved in any feuds or anything. Yeah. Edge takes on Chris Jericho. This is just to finish up their rivalry from WrestleMania and Extreme Rules. Make sure that they were both involved in that. Yeah, so this is just to finish up their rivalry. Edge goes over. I'm not sure how long, sure when Chris Jericho left or anything, so I should have both things open here. But yeah, we're not gonna. This is just basically to finish up their rivalry. Chris Jericho managed to win at WrestleMania. He lost the belt. He blames Edge for it. They were probably brawling on the outside or something. That's cost him his victory. I don't know if it was this. So yeah, and Rey was able to get a victory to win the title. And also, Edge will have cost Jericho a rematch against Rey on SmackDown. So, yeah. And then we have Jack Swagger versus Sheamus. Now, I haven't really come up with a story for this, so this is basically off the fly. I was looking for two guys. They're both up and comers. I want to give them a stage to perform, and the Money in the Bank is on the line in this match. So, what I've kind of decided is that Sheamus thinks that Jack Swagger doesn't deserve that briefcase that he's got. He sort of touts the fact that he beat Triple H at Extreme Rules. He had a great match with Triple H at WrestleMania. So he should be the Money in the Bank recipient. And the only reason that Swagger's got it is because he had better things to do at WrestleMania. And Swagger says, well, I won the match. I won at WrestleMania. You didn't. And I've been winning since I've won this thing. He holds it up and everything. And you haven't been doing so well. So basically, Bret makes a match between the two, and Swagger goes over. Because I feel that WWE, when people win the briefcase, they usually go on some sort of losing streak. Here they're not. He's going to start winning because I don't know when I'm going to have Jack Swagger cash in that Money in the Bank. I haven't got it planned. Honestly, it's not going to be happening anytime soon because I feel that Jack Swagger, in the real world, he cashed in too early. They hadn't built him sufficiently. He was just a guy. And he was doing pretty well. He was starting to build some momentum, and he won the title before he was ready. And that has really hurt his career. And I don't know if he was ever ready. But I'm gonna try and build him up, and yeah. And plus, in this world, for some reason, he's babyface. So, okay. World title versus hair. Now, for this thing, there's been kind of a little bit of tension developing between Raw and SmackDown. Because Raw seems to have most of the belts, and that hasn't changed. And Teddy kind of says to CM Punk when he wants his rematch for the belt, and he wants it over the edge, he says, well, and this is after it was immediately announced, the Raw after Extreme Rules, that there was going to be a rematch. It was going to be the last time, because one of the guys was going to be leaving, Batista and John Cena. Teddy says, well, Punk, I kind of need a little bit of a hook for that match. I'm not going to ask you to put your body on the line anymore, because I feel that's not what's going to sell. That's not what's going to bring the fans. I want you to put your hair on the line. And CM Punk says, fine, Teddy. I can beat Rey any day of the week. I'm not worried about my hair. So, he's going into this match pretty cocky. Rey's kind of taking him very seriously. But, well, you know, Rey comes up short, and CM Punk is now the world champion again. That's pretty much all you need for this, because this is sort of to bring that rivalry kind of to an end. Pretty much, there might be some fallout on SmackDown. Might be like a cage match or something on SmackDown, but to really 100% finish it off, that's kind of to bring it to an end. Now, the world title situation. This is the two biggest stars of the company, and one of them is going to be leaving. I'm going to make that pretty clear. I would probably also leak it out that maybe, that Cena might be going off to do a movie, and as well. So, kind of leak that out too. Cena might be leaving to do a movie, and Batista was probably definitely leaving at this time. So I want to put some doubt into the fans' minds, even the smart marks, as to who is going to walk away from this with the title, because the title's line, and this is also an I Quit match. So when they quit, they're not just quitting the match; they're quitting the company, and that's made very clear by Bret as well. And he brings up the match he had with Austin, and he says, someone's gonna say I quit in this match. And how I'd like it to end is not so much in the way that it ended on in the real world. I want it to be kind of like the way he ended the match with Umaga, the Royal Rumble, where he had that rope. I want it to be brutal, but I don't want it to be ended by an FU or an attitude adjustment or anything like that. No, it's going to end with an STFU in the ring, and something brutal like that. I want it to be. Want there to be weapons. I want there to be. I want there to be blood. I want all that stuff. I don't want it. I don't want a doctor or anything running in and wiping away the blood, which is actually not a good thing to do. It's just gonna keep bleeding, guys. It's just gonna keep bleeding. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much the show. And yeah, by the way, Cena wins and everything. But look, I think overall, if you look at the card, I'm gonna post it below. You're gonna see, I might see things actually utilized. I'm gonna go more into the MVP Ezekiel Jackson relationship next time. So now Mickey Babylon has sort of teased the NXT arrival in WWE. Now I'm probably going to handle it a bit different. I'm not sure who he's bringing in. I'm not sure how many of the guys he's bringing in, because there's certain guys I just don't want to. I want to leave them down in FCW or whatever. So if he says he's bringing everybody, that's fine. That's fine. He can bring everybody. I'm probably not going to bring everybody. I don't think we need everybody. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Stay tuned. Not sure when he's doing another one, but I want to also mention I'm on my own personal channel. I have been doing a Creator Wrestler League. I believe there is a link in the description to that. Please go over there, hit subscribe, watch a couple of the videos, guys. They're all only about an hour long, but they're all playthroughs of the game WWE 2K17. Most of the characters most of them are my own creation. So please check them out. So I hope Mickey Babylon pays attention to this, because also, once this series is over, if he has been watching, I'd like to know if he has been watching, please, I've got a challenge for him. So stay tuned, because I'm going to have a challenge for Mickey Babylon. See you all later.